Yo, how's it going, Puppeteer? Not sure if you're okay. I think my mic was actually off. I think it wasn't. Doing good? Nice, nice. I'm in the degen hours. You doing pretty good. A little bit grief. Pick up the hammer. Whoa. What? Then that didn't happen. All started when I was born. There's no war in Bossing State. Are no Epstein files. Early purple this raid would be nice. That was a really good really good use of insane amount of thralls on me. Well, you know what? I'll take it. To pretend I use a bone dagger. Yo, how's it going, Propo? No way, just seen you. Just had to come say hi. How's it going, dude? You say anything, chat, and I just missed it, I guess. Oh, you said rap. My bad. Breaking streamer. Wait, that was a skip. I just missed that on. I need. That was a bolter skip and a half. Perfectly timed, except I wasn't. It's better just to use. Well, it's gonna have to land in this area. I don't think I'll proc though. Yo, how's it going, trees? Our lurking stream for the night? Hey, no problem, dude. Chillin', hope all is well. Yeah. I never have the energy to stream after work. Honestly, I barely have the energy to stream. But I was like, you know what? Can't sleep. Cannot do. Appreciate the stream. Appreciate the view. Appreciate you. Love to see the 75s. Yes, kind of sad. killed, I think I'm supposed to kill one of the triple. A lot of things to remember for. How's ToA feel gameplay-wise after changes haven't gone back since? I'm not a fan of the Baba changes. They make it a bit too brain-dead for my liking. But Akka changes are good, Kefri changes are excellent. Warden hasn't really changed, but it's kind of slightly, ever so slightly. The only thing that changes is Warden. Big and not fan of drop. It's worth to wait for instead of dropping Claw. On average, I think. Soul-based attacks, yeah. Well, she'd be too difficult for a noob. Yeah, I know what you mean. Definitely would be nice to have some like dodgeable attacks constantly. Just a slow shadow, which is one pattern. Kidding me? Guess I could have waited. The spec stays when I move room. What is this 1, 2, 3? What do you mean by that, Center? Not sure what your question is. Bigger slam radius as an invo? Honestly, I wouldn't really want a bigger slam. I think I would want kind of like a more faster but condensed slam. If that makes sense. The Calvarian? Yeah, I guess that would be good. Well, the Calvarian's a bit too condensed. And is a little bit too. But, kind of, yeah. The idea's there. That was a little inefficient, minus 2 ticks. Oh, badges next to... Oh, that stuff? I don't know. I actually need to look into, like, what that stuff is. It's just basically who chats the most. I don't know why. Just oh, don't kill me. Not much of a fan myself. No offense, number one chatters. Professionally, yeah, so yeah. It's like one of those things. It's like, yeah, I made a change, kind of thing. You know, whoever wants to. Not all change is a good change. Correctly. I should proc. I'll leave you on protect melee. Seeing I just messed up butterfly, let's not die if I mess up again. What's the point of ZCB and Void Waker? They do big damage. They're for their special attacks. Although Void Waker also has a little side use. You can use it both for the special attack and for hitting the boarding core. I double click the special. Holy. Not the greatest because I messed up butter. A hot minute since I tuned in, but I see Rancor over Blood Fury now. Assuming because of Baba changes? No, not necessarily. Although obviously the Baba changes favor Blood Fury was always kind of like a luxury to begin with. I only used it back in the day when I was full face tanking Babo, and I pretty much swapped over as soon as Rancor. It's a pretty significant DPS. It's not needed for Kefri, it's not needed for Baba, so why waste money to go? At this point, with the Baba changes, I would recommend, even if you're too broke to get a Rancor, just to use a Torque. One trades up to 400, but can't 3 down for Warden P2 anymore. With Void Waker and Beat Chest, we need to pro for that. Maybe. It depends on the ring you're using too. But at 400, honestly, you should probably just bring a D. Shouldn't have over. I mean, I don't even have overly draining in a 530. I use like a few different ways to get my 3 downs. Like I use a few Burning Claws and stuff, but you probably want to use it. But Burning Claws could do that too. Help you out. Not as good as a DDS, not even close. Pretty for core, but hey, gets the job done. Ronald, your mic is cutting out a bit. Oh, sorry. I think I'm too far from it. Is this a bit better? That or the gain might have changed and I didn't notice. Hold on. That should be a little bit better. I just might not be speaking loud enough as well. Could also lower the noise gate on it. I'm always afraid of like too much background noise, but then yeah, it makes my mic. I set the gate probably too high. Just got a shadow in the jugs feel weird. Need to BP them for insta one shots. Yeah, you want to use a blowpipe for the shorter travel time. Either way, you want to use a blowpipe for the jugs because range attacks actually don't have an attack cooldown. So you only lose 1 tick hitting the jug versus losing a full 5 ticks using your shadow on them. Little minor time save, but you know, few solves, you'll save like 5 seconds for free just using your blowpipe on them. There are some solves that like the jugs like are right next to the rocks, and I would highly recommend having a blowpipe for that too. Because otherwise you would just have to find a different jug when that happens. Same thing for the baboon monkeys at Baba. You need to use a ranged or melee attack to get like no cooldown on them. You use a shadow, then it puts it on cooldown, which is really annoying. Perish. You recommend shadowing Zebek rather than bringing max range. So, mage is a little bit worse than range, but it's more like playstyle wise. If you don't mind flicking, then range does save a little bit of time on Zebek, but it's not that much. Like if you do BGS and T-bow and you bring like let's say a 6-way range, which is pretty standard, you'll save like somewhere between 15 to 20 seconds depending on the level Zebek is. That's kind of like up to you, I guess. If you think it's worth it. I don't really bother because you can just do things like I'm doing and never flick. But a lot of people prefer a fast raid. And if you don't mind flicking, then you can do that. I would say this first. do this run, and if you don't mind flicking, then do the same setup but grab double power instead. And if you still have extra prayer, then bring the ranged and go double power. Because if you go power life and you go ranged, then there's not really a point. Want to make sure you can get double power first, and then you want to go into the range setups. Assuming you have like ZCB and stuff. Or Void Waker. If you're too broke for any special attacks, and even like Burning Claws, it's probably kind of worth it. Probably should undeck Grasp there. Where'd the Burning Claws go? What's the plugin for the OSRS team? I think it's called Resource Packs. Thank you, no problem. .545s are most efficient now. I'm not sure, honestly. Someone sent me some numbers for 545s, and it seems like 530s are a little bit better. It's not that far off, though. I will say I think 530s are somewhat substantially better than 500s, though. Substantial being like maybe like 3%, 5%. Okay, not that substantial, but you know, still like kind of worth it. Because I was calcing mine to like if you do like a regular 2 down, no skull skip, and if you were to not 3 down or skull skip, you just need to beat the world record if you want to beat, you know, like a standard 530. And I'm like, that doesn't seem very feasible, so. I mean, if you're too broke for spec weapons, then there's nothing wrong with doing like a 545. It's not that far off. Yeah, I don't know about 500s. Even if you do 3 down full skull skip, I was getting about 20, somewhere between 27 to 28 minute runs in 500s with 3 down full skull skip. And that was somewhat comparable, pretty much comparable to 530s. The problem is, those raids are harder to do for the same reward, it seemed like. So I'm like, well, why would I do that? 530s seem to be... Like, if I wanted to, like, cherry pick my good 530s, I would like, alright, let me throw in my 29, like, 50 or 29.45 530, and then, yeah, I completely wash 500s. In terms of purple per hour. That means you would have to do a world record run in like 23 minutes or something. You know, me sitting on my ass here, not flicking. Yeah, I don't think so. Hey chat, isn't there a way to make the Kefri Transmog run faster with your character? I don't think that pet has any running, unfortunately. There was a bug at one point where all pets could run, I think, but I don't think everyone can run. I know Nex can. The next pet can run, but I don't think any of the ToA pets can run. Do you think the Eye of Ayuk would be good with Shadow of a Mage? Only runs in Inferno? I highly doubt it. Mage is a good bit worse than Inferno. It's like comparable to both, I guess, but especially if it's like especially if you're more experienced, like even an inexperienced player probably wants the prayer bonus that comes with like having ranged gear, and the range defense is so nice. Dang, I swear I saw a video of it. I think there was probably a bug at one point where all pets could run, but yeah, they removed it. I think. I can't even be sure about that. I don't know what the point of Echo Boots is now, by the way. They're releasing the Delve Boots. Any tips for doing Inferno? Bring regens, and do not be afraid to camp Rigger. Never even attempted? If you haven't attempted Colosseum, do that first. Not only is the Quiver directly helpful for your Colosseum runs, in a very tangible way, across like all the waves, but it teaches you a lot about pillars, and it's not as stressful when you die. And Inferno will teach you some very basic solves as well. Not Inferno, Colosseum. I would just say do the Colosseum first, and you won't really need any tips after that, honestly. You'll just need to learn like the bat safe spots, but everything else is like very standard. Elbow D dart tips, hell yeah. Got one of these. There's a double pot. I think I did it. Oops. Got wasting me money. Hey boy. The only reason I haven't tried Inferno because the time put into it seems stressful. Honestly, if you've already killed Colosseum 6 times, you'll probably be... A lot of the waves will be very intuitive already, so I wouldn't worry too much. And if you haven't gotten... Actually, no, it doesn't really matter. I wouldn't sweat it too much, though. Like, yeah, it takes a lot of time, but bring a bunch of regens and try not to really... Don't go overboard on practicing, like, 10 attempts a day or anything like that. I feel like maybe 1 or 2 runs, and then... Just keep it up. It's the most important thing, honestly. I actually got a lot of chip damage that run. For T-Bow slash Masor, what other switches should I bring? Are we talking for? I think we're still fine. You're gonna want a blowpipe, and I think people do suffering. I'm not sure if Libera or suffering's better. I think people do sufferings. Ah, guess wrong. You name who this? I have no idea. Sold Abyssal Dagger. Hold up. Who's buying an Abyssal Dagger for 2.9 mil? This one has to be here. Like, on one hand, Library lets you get more blowpipe specs. Unlucky, went down here. Not bad though. I went for 2 attempts at skip. How do you find these flips? I've been playing RuneScape for so long. Flips come very naturally. I'm very familiar with the market. But at the same time, I don't know if that one is an actual flip or if that's someone just like, for some reason, buying an Abyssal Dagger and just clicking up like 30 times. They didn't check. If I see something that's relatively low risk, then I just put my money into it. Basically, I don't think it'll go lower than this for a long time. I typically throw them in. I've learned not to touch next items, nightmare items, no matter what. Don't touch ToA items. Don't touch any item for any content that people find extremely unenjoyable. Because if it gets buffed, the prices will go down. Be sad. I used to flip blood shards a lot, but I don't know about those anymore, to be honest. I don't think I'm gonna touch blood shards with 10-foot pole. Big fan of Snowy Nights, they go crazy. You know, what surprises me about Snowy Nights, right, is that sunlight moths exist as an alternative, and they're usually much cheaper. So I'm not really sure why anyone would buy Snowy Nights over sunlight moth mix. Aren't they basically the same thing? You just buy whichever one is cheaper. I don't know. In fact, sunlight moth even has a little restore effect, but that's kind of irrelevant. Don't use it for that. I know this because I had 9,000 sunlight moth mixes. Search them. I probably could have killed 2 eggs there, actually, but whatever. It'll work out if I noodle. That's good. Non-mix heals 15, understandable. It's the same heal, but one's way faster. I could have gotten this one if I was a little bit faster. It'll heal 1 storm. A DT2 rings is better than Lightbearer? Not necessarily. They serve different purposes. That's annoying. So, like, DT2 rings are really good. Especially Magus is a little bit better than Lightbearer. But Lightbearer is kind of like a catch-all ring, and it's... In a lot of raids, Magus and Alter aren't much better enough that you may want to take the inventory space. Plus, think of it also from an economy standpoint. One ring is usually... what is it? I don't even know what the price of a Lightbearer is. Well, one ring is sub 10 mil, and the other rings combined are like 200 mil, right? So... And both rings individually are a little bit better when you have good DPS uptime, like when you can keep hitting the boss for a while. But then you have to bring 2 rings as well. There's a high level 208. I think so overall, but not as a... Doesn't really matter too much. Like, a lot of people, especially in Speed 500s, go with just Lightbearer, because it's really tough on the inventory space. And Lightbearer is the BIS rank for ranged as well. And if you're doing Speed 500s, you want a ranged Zevik. But these aren't like Speed 500s, these are money raids. Vegas is fine. Excited for Delve? Well, I'm excited for the items. I'm very cautious of whether I'm excited or not. It sounds like mid-game content. I mean, I'm technically doing mid-game content as well. What I really want is something like TOB hard, where it took a while even to get the first clear. With like the best PVMers in the world. That's what I want to see. I want to see like it be really hard, but it doesn't sound that hard, so. Also, the way it sounds designed where you're kind of just camping the last level. What if the last level sucks? So, very, very pessimistic. We'll see, we'll see. OSRS of the past? Yeah, those days are over. I don't think I'm ever going to get anything that scratches like that difficulty itch. Harder than Yama. That's not a. That's a pretty easy bar to pass. The question is the ceiling also higher, and is the floor substantially higher? Because the skill floor of my issue of Yama is that the ceiling is great, and like the high level like Yama efficient Yama is great, but the skill floor is too low. I'm not a fan that people can just mage it duo and like still basically kill the boss for like 5 kill trips. Just a little bit slower. You know, it is like slower, but I'm not a fan that you can even get away with killing the boss like that. The Radiant? No, I still have to finish Divine Severance and what was the other one? The fun one, Sensory Clouding. But I intend to do both melee, but I haven't really wanted to play OSRS outside of streaming it, so I haven't really tried it. I think I will enjoy Sensory Clouding, though. Yeah, I'm not really a fan of the skill floor. I think it's too low. I want something with a high skill floor where if you're not good at it, you're not clearing it, essentially. I don't want it to be min-maxing efficiency. I want it to be, if you're not good at it, you're not clearing it. But I don't think it's going to be something like that, just by the way it's designed, where they're trying to min-max. If you're good, you can stay longer. I don't know. I don't think I'll like it. Hopefully I like it. Unfortunately, I'm not too optimistic. That's also like why I like the Inferno. Even though like the first few waves, the first 30 waves are super sleeper. At the end of the day, it's content that if you're not good at, you're not clearing, and that's why I kind of like it. Inferno's so easy with all the power creep now. Yeah, I mean it's expected that content that gets power creep, so I'm not against that. I wouldn't be against Delve being easy, let's say 3 years from now, but I want it to be really hard when it releases. And I don't think that's the direction the game's gonna go. To be frank, ever again. I don't think Jagex is ever going to release content that's hard to clear. I mean, in the same sense, like ToA is kind of like that. It's not at high level. It's like more hard to clear than it is to optimize. Optimizing, it's not too bad. How did I go backwards? At least I don't think it's too hard to optimize. I think it's easier than like ToB. As a ToA enjoyer, I still think ToB is like it's like the best because not only does it have a high ceiling, but it's got a very respectable floor to clear. The next RuneFest, Kieran said the next raid will be more like ToB. I don't buy it. I will believe this. I believe it will be. I completely believe it will be a boss rush style, no puzzles. You just kill boss, 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 boss. Right? I highly doubt they make something as hard as ToB, with a high floor, high ceiling. Highly, highly doubt. Don't get me wrong, like the boss rush will be very enjoyable. Very good format. Well, a lot of people like doing these days. I don't think the like most of the high level community will be satisfied unless they get another high floor, high ceiling raid, but I think that's in the past. This will work. It is what it is, though. Is that already solved? I just wish ToA wasn't as easy to solo, yeah. You actually get reduced mechanics for soloing. It's kind of dumb. Like, it should be soloable kind of like how Chambers is, where it's like a decent bit harder, and you have to learn the raid in a much different way. And it's still like, you know, extremely viable for people to get into, even if they don't, in case they don't want to like do a team. So it's like incentivized to do a team, but if you're really, really not wanting to do teams, then you can like put the extra effort. Biggest floor for ToB is still the player count. Very, very true. Remember back then, it was like applying for your first job. No experience. Well, you need experience to get your first KC, apparently. Which parts are harder in teams for ToA? Like Monkey Room, you have to. There's like corruption. That's like one of the big, like the easiest examples to point to first. The fact that Monkey Room has an extra mechanic for being in teams. The rock throw is actually difficult. Well, actually, it was. It was more difficult to deal with in teams because there's, you know, you have to figure out how to split the players so that you don't grief each other. There's more thought behind that. Zebik's blood, as another example, his blood attack, if you're standing next to a player, just like destroys them. But in solos, that doesn't happen at all. Dungwall and Kufri, you can't really trap yourself too easily, but you can. It's very easy to trap someone in a team by accident. Akka, yeah, another one. Also, no problem. I don't know how to pronounce your Korean name, but I'm very, very appreciative that you watched my guide. Thank you. ever get DPS checked there? No, I would just sun spec with an adrenaline if I was gonna get DPS checked. I have a backup plan. Even though I don't really like the fights in chambers too much, other than Ulm, I do really like the solo experience, like learning it compared to team. I think it's got that good mix. I know it's unintended, but still. Wait, people are actually buying Abyssal Daggers for 2.9 mil? What is up? I don't think Grasp hits 20s every time, so I'm not going to do that. Any time to take Karis? About yay high. Unfortunately, that's my actual answer. You see where this guy's axis compared to my head? About yay high. Kind of like around when I would have shadowed again. You see when I unequip the shadow to put my Karis on? I kind of like think, oh, if I was gonna do another shadow, it'd be around this time. I know, that might be extremely unhelpful. Sometimes it's, you know, you just feel it out. It's like when my mom cooks food. She's like, I'm like, oh, how much seasoning do you put? She's like, yeah, about this much. I'm like, I don't know. About yay much. Well, thanks for nothing. One ticket earlier than you would for normal ticket? Yeah. Sun Karis has a little bit of a delay. Wish you could solo top, but duo is the best you can manage. There's nothing wrong with that, though. Honestly, even though I've never done my first completion, solo top is also very, very tedious. It's very, very repetitive. I think duo is great because there's not really much repetition. Let's see, does it hit 20? I don't think it does. It doesn't. It's like 15. My 30's under 35 timers crazy. Hey, we've already gotten under 30, I'll have you know. While skull skipping. Yeah. I mean, we used to do 545s all the time, so for sure 530s were going to be easier. Need to learn Bold Dash for an extra 10? Yeah. Then you gotta start taking in the supply indications like no help needed. Do you think you can make a 400 dehydration guide sometime? Trying to do it with Sun Karis, but not sure when to use spec and when not to use spec. The timings for like a high invo rate and like a 400 are pretty similar, to be honest, but you shouldn't really be taking dehydration at 400 just yet. At 400, you should be working on taking pretty much all of the boss invocations, besides like double trouble keepback and overlords. And then you want to like min-max, like you want to have a timer on, you want to have no help needed on, and ideally hardcore by then. Although that's not necessary. Once you're at that point where you're basically doing 400s without dehydration, then you want to start looking to taking double trouble keepback and probably dehydration at the same time, so that you go all the way from 400 to 450, if that makes sense. 400's like with Dehydration means you're probably missing out on some random invocations you should be taking. I'm using way too many supplies. Can't really tell why, to be honest. You shouldn't use any at Baba, and Kefri, you should just be ideally using Prayer. You should definitely be using some food at Wardens, and it's not uncommon for your like Akas to require a bit of food, especially if you're not using butterflying. Butterflying is a way to like really lower the amount of supplies you use at Akka, and you shouldn't really use any at like Zebek, other than Prayer. Usually down to full restore after Baba plus Monkey Room. If you're not flicking, that sounds very standard. I'm down 1 restore. That's not that bad. You should be able to do Wardens with just the life supplies if you're not a Dehydro boy, you know, like the brew, the 1 Ambro they give you. That's with no help needed, so you get 1 of everything, 1 brew, 1 Ambro, 1 Scarab. You should be able to do Wardens on just that. If you feel like you're not, then you have another issue. Means you're taking too much damage somewhere. Like if you're messing up P2, for example. It's not too bad also to not take Ancient Haste if you don't have a Shadow. Use most of the given supplies on Wardens, that's fine. I mean, that's where they're intended to be used. But if you have like none of the supply limiting invocations and you're still using like a lot of your stuff, then you have a problem probably with like your P3 or P4 making like mistakes, you know, on these floor slams. Taking too much damage, P4 is like a big one. People, when they're starting out, might be using like 3 doses of Ambrosia, right? When ideally they should, obviously, in a perfect world, it's almost damageless. And that comes down to practice and like understanding how the shadow mechanic. Like a big one is don't be afraid of the shadows as they get really big. Because you can run on them like right as they pop, and right after shadow pops, and the lightning crashes on it, gives you the maximum amount of safety time. Yo, how's it going, Mid-City? Also, Ventrilla, I am doing pretty good. Chillin'. What is your opinion on P4 BGS? Do it if we're doing a Bofa. If you have a... Well, assuming we're talking solos, if you have a Void Waker, I'd probably just send those instead. It's a little bit more consistent, and it's not that much worse. And I think consistency is kind of nice to have. Because a lot of people start losing ticks on last row, and if your BGS misses like 3 times, then you're probably getting last road. But, if you don't own a Void Waker, absolutely I would send at least a 1. At the very minimum, send 1 BGS and hope it hits. If you have like Ambrosia, then just like send as many as you can. See. I am new to your channel. I like OSRS and search Duo for ToA. Nice, nice. Although this is mostly a solo channel, but welcome. I don't really do team raids too much. I have PowerPot double ZCB. I think the second ZCB doesn't get as much value in a solo. Pretty sure it doesn't hit 110. That's not that bad if you don't have like Void Waker and you have a ZCB though. Bring Void Waker and ZCB. Definitely do 1 ZCB. And I don't think you need the other. We'll also want to take there. Not really a fan of these rock positions. They could land anywhere here. I'm gonna proc anyway. It's not that big of a deal, William. Like, pretty minor. It'd be a small optimization, though. I will admit one thing. It is very easy just to send 2 ZCBs and not really care. You already have your range gear up, probably. I can respect that. Oh, the second one's hitting like 90 something, then yeah. It's fine. You're in a decent enough invode that it's still hitting pretty well. Is there any way to mitigate damage on P2? I feel like that's where most of my supplies are going. That is probably where most of your supplies are going. The only way to really mitigate damage a little bit is to go melee distance and pray melee. But most people don't bother. I don't really bother. Because his melee attacks are significantly weaker. It is more annoying though. Pretty behind on swarms. I'll let one in. Guess I'm letting two in. Oh. Thought that was in range with the blowpipe. I should have set it to long range. Damage is kind of pathetic. He'll also take there. Hair's better than Fang now. For the Scarabs, yeah. Supposedly. I'm only saying supposedly because they definitely are. But you definitely didn't see it in that one I was doing. Did a bunch of noodles. But yeah, they are. By actually a pretty significant portion too. I'm out. Oh. Black Carrots is better than Unspun Fangs. Yeah, even like Sun Carrots is better. But only for the scarabs, not for like the whole raid. It's because the scarabs don't scale the defense with raid level. That's embarrassing. I double clicked it. Love sitting here AFK watching you after work. Hey, thank you very much, man. I don't know why I've been getting an itch to play. Not really play, like, do like skilling content for some reason. Noodle Shadow right now. Please. Wanna be a believer? Surely not. Unlucky. I'll play it safe and I'll Sun Karis. And when you get those Bclaws, you just delete them. It's the final phase of Akka called? Look, look, look. You already know the answer. You already know the answer to that. There's only one real name. I don't know how that was just decided, and we're like, yeah, we're keeping that. There's nothing Jackis can do about it. You know what Corpse Magic Attack used to be called in the in-game files? That's a good trivia in case you didn't know. I put on my Missouri for that. Necessary. I think the best info setup is for Bofa, no cares. That can't butterfly. Just learn to butterfly. Can't escape it. I'm gonna have to break it to you. I'm gonna be honest. Butterflying is more chill than actually doing the boss as intended, even with a Bofa. It's fine if you mess up. I wouldn't worry about it. Nice name change. Thank you, thank you. I was forced to. Almost was like, yeah, you know, like yeah, you get a click, but a lot better than actually playing the boss as intended. Or I answer that to every single person who asks me, what do I do for Akka if I can't butterfly? I just tell them the answer is you gotta butterfly. It is what it is. You gotta learn it. It is the new Jagex intended. Okay? Previously, butterfly was not intended, but Jagex has made changes to encourage it, so you must do it. You did also ask questions about how to limit your supply usage. It's a 2-for-1-er. Like, imagine someone asked you... It's not the same level of difference, but someone asked you, how do I do Ohm without doing 4-to-1? Can I just face tank him? I'm like, you can, but why? Why would you do that to yourself? You don't lose any... The main thing is that you actually gain DPS by butterflying, especially with a Bofa setup. Because he doesn't teleport away as much. It's fine though. It's easy to learn actually, William. Because if you mess up, you just try again. And eventually it kind of, like, the cycle eventually kind of fixes itself. How's it going, Velzen? GM. Belzen, I had a 237 Zebek recently. These 540s. Doing IRL. That's nice. And we get a 4. Level 4. Not level 5, unfortunately. Should I put on Pathfinder and Double Trouble Keyback and spam Akka until I can get it? Yeah, I would say just put those on and just spam it. Although, you kind of put yourself in an awkward position where, oddly enough, like that's a great practice way to do it. But Pathfinder actually makes Double Trouble a little bit easier because you have more time. You don't have to worry about stepping like on an orb as you leave. Considering no circle, yeah, it was the ZCBs. I actually missed a ZCB too. It's not like I hit every single ZCB. I only hit 2 out of 3. And yeah, remember, like if you're like new to it in like an actual money run, just protect melee while you do it. The worst case scenario is that you have to do Akka pretty much like how you did it. Except I guess yeah, the old keep back, but still, one step at a time. You did put in the effort to learn feeling special, right? So like, you can do the same thing. Put in the effort to learn Double Trouble. There is no running. Yeah, that's right. It is inevitable. Trying to sleep. Can you do this ASMR style? I don't know how to do ASMR, I'm sorry. Let me grab a vacuum cleaner and put it right up to the mic. What's Augury diff here? Maybe 1 max hit. Pretty irrelevant, to be honest. I don't think it's even a max, I think it's a minimum hit. I've been running 200s, I got 67 KC and not 1 purple. Done all the jewels and 5 threads. Oh, honestly, if you're doing 200s, kind of expected. You are probably dry, but You're doing 200s. It is what it is. Hunt those numbers up. I've been like 30 something dry in the old 540s, and those were 17%, 5 times rate. Inevitable. Any music, by the way, bro? Did I hear the OSRS soundtrack? I think the OSRS. I have my playlist. I have 2 playlists separate going right now. One on Twitch and then one on YouTube. I can hear the Twitch one, but I can't hear the YouTube right now. Obviously, because I don't want sets of music playing at the same time. You guys not hear any music the whole time? You guys just been sitting here in silence watching me raid. Appreciate if so. Almost died to that. I'm in Pathfinder, not Pathfinder. Yeah, it's fine too, William. It's a good way to practice your Rakas. Oh, you can hear the OSR soundtrack? Yeah, okay. That's intended. The only reason I didn't play the usual, like, jazzy Nova soundtrack that I normally do is because, honestly, I feel like you guys would get tired of it if I played it every single time. Although I do like that music too. But the Twitch one has some DMV going on right now. This isn't. I don't really have enough Restorer now. But these are a lot worse now after the changes. When it comes to shadow hunting, not that much worse, but overall GP is a lot worse, yeah. The Sori, Fang, and Light Bearers are essentially worthless now. Or not worthless, but like really rare. Masori is kind of like worthless. I think we're at like 11 mil an hour or something. Not that much. It used to be like 18 before the summer sweep up. If you were a non-shadow owner, you're probably very, very happy with the changes. Because you can like pump up your info a lot more. And especially if you're like an Iron Man, it's a lot easier to go to like 450s and essentially get like a net positive where you were before. GP was 20, yeah. Tell me more. It's doomed. Taking all our money. Oh my god, what have I done? Gotta lock the fuck in. Alright, we're good. Got my bread, my log gonna say permanently stacked. I'm a little bit jealous. That log. I noticed that you walk a lot in the enraged phase. Is there a reason for that? Yeah, so I walk in a random direction, so I can look at chat. If I stay still, I'm bound to get hit. And if I like run around, I might run into like shadows. But if I walk in a direction, I just stop myself every now and again, it's easy to read chat. Streamer technology. You have to put in time, yeah. Very, very fair. Also tick. It's over. No way. Never evened out your shadow luck? Unlucky, dude. I find it really funny that the spec noise is like an area sound. You have it muted, you just have a silent BS. Wish mine did that. Hey, I had a pretty noodle one today. So far today, though, BGS has been very nice to me. It's a nice position right there. Land anywhere here. Ah, nah, DPS is very lacking. No skip. Actually, wait, hold up. The DPS is so lacking that we skip. Easy. Let me do my magic. Yep. Our DPS is so bad that we made it work. I hit. This is a really bad one, yeah. Find up. Time is still chilling. Dude, that's like a 545. A boulder skip, 3 Void Wakers, and a big VGS. 333. Super unlucky. Is what it is. Be like that. Why are Abyssal Daggers going up, though? This will... I think I bought these for like 2.1. Oh, there's actually literally no reason to that much. We're chilling at like 2.3 for a while. Or BGS specs miss. Had that, I think 2 streams ago. It's pretty unlucky. So far, my record for BGS is missed in a row. It's 6. You gotta start counting bells in. We let 2 in, we messed up. Let 2 in. Record for ZCB missed. I haven't counted on that one yet. Ooh, Sriracha. I forgot that Shadow Splashes don't count toward 3 hits, which is really dumb. That's really dumb. But thank God I remembered. As soon as I realized, I was like, wait a minute. Something is afoot. Something is afoot. Hey, I'm gonna crash. Good luck, bro. No problem. Have a good night, Velzen. Probably just gonna do the one raid. Oh. You kidding me? You got stuck on the shaman. Be a DPS skip here if a hit kind of decent. Doesn't look like it though. Not happening. I'm excited to get practice a little bit of butterfly before bed and get news that I can phase and do Simon Says for the most part. Just transitioning between quadrants and butterfly hitting shadows needs a bit more work. Yeah, that's kind of like that's supposed to be like the major skill ceiling. Raka. To be frank, I'm not that good at it either when it comes to the Bofa stuff. Just curious, but why 530 as opposed to a 500? Is there increased purple chance? I was told 500 was basically cap. So you do get increased purple chance, but the shadow weighting does not increase. Going from well, the shadow chance increases, but the shadow weighting does not increase. So When people are referring to the 500 cap, they're referring to the weighting. They move all the way. My Baba tiles? I can try to paste them in chat. I don't think it's that many tiles. There you go. You go, William. For purples per hour, I do think 530s are a little bit better than 500, but I don't think 545s are worth it, which is basically this raid, but with overly draining. You go from about, I think, 7.7% purple chance to 8.7, going from 500 to 530. And the rate is about, I would say about around 10% to 12% slower, but the upgrade is like a little bit better than that. Plus, this is way more chill to do. I'm putting in probably, I feel like 20% less effort. I didn't even realize I didn't even show all these. I am high, I like raids. Oh, hello, hi. I like raids too. Why do you hate Torva legs? They don't really do anything in this particular setup. You don't gain any extra DPS having Torva legs in this particular setup. Pre-salted. You only get a Fang max hit when you're salted. That's pretty minimal. Because you're only doing that for just Akka's come phase. I will be probably bringing them once the Delve boots come out. I just realized, I was like, why am I taking so much damage? There you go. One of them wasn't set properly. How's it going, Caniculture? Can't freaking get those rangers trapped yet? Why not? You mean like you're messing it up, or...? How's your night going? That's pretty good so far. I napped earlier in the day after I got home from work. And I can't fall back asleep soon. Raiden. How's messing it up? My guess is Everlasting. I'm not sure what kind of ranger trap you're doing, but my guess is no matter what kind of ranger trap you're doing, you're probably forgetting the secondary step, which is once the ranger is stuck in the cage, right? I assume it can still see you. You need to essentially shift the ranger up by standing on the corner of the rooms. If you want to shift it toward one side, you want to shift it... Like, if you want to shift them east, you got to be on the southeast tile. And if you want to shift them west, you got to go to the northwest-ish tile of the room. Conveniently, those are both, like, you know, right next to where the arcane is. On one of his teleport spots, so... I'm guessing that's, like, the crucial step that you're missing out. I had to troubleshoot your issue. Because if you just put him in the cage, it doesn't trap him just like that. You have to still shift him. Like you can see in the last Kefri I did, I realized I did it wrong for one of them, and you can see I went to like a spot to shift them up. I hope that helps. Well, thanks. I'm gonna be on Hella tomorrow. Hopefully I can fix that. Yeah, good luck, dude. Boom, it's clean. Thank you, thank you. I kind of messed this one up a little bit. It was a tick lossless transition, but it wasn't a guarantee I would have hit on Naka there. Get burned here. You don't have the trouble. You don't have this problem with double trouble, but is there a way to know if you should keep running or delay when he specials? What do you mean by that? Oh, do you mean for butterflying, Gillies? You usually want to delay a little bit, but to be honest, I don't really know the best way to do it. I'm probably not the person to ask for that. I actually don't know. I think I know what your question is. It's kind of like, how do you basically maintain butterflying? But yeah, I don't really know the answer to that one, to be honest. Little ending. You're essentially supposed to like do something like um, wait and then like move him down or something, but I don't really know how it's done. Because I know like he gets into like a weird position when he stops to do his specials. Man, I need to start doing this raid. Yo, new raids are always fun. Your beast holy, thank you very much. That means too. So max it goes to 600? Yeah. Although 600 isn't a money raid. Technically, like the points you get for hitting a monster only scale up to 550. 600 just more like for the challenge of doing it. That makes sense. Actual money rate stops at 550. Although 550s are like technically not good money because of the invocations you're taking, but theoretically, 550 is like the best you would ever do for a money raid, even if there was invocations. How did you get everything highlighted in that color NPC and rocks? Objects you can right click and mark them to. You want to have the plugin object marker enabled. The ID of the thing you want to highlight? Nah, that's something else entirely. I think you're thinking of like radius markers and stuff. But I don't like using radius markers personally. Or like a annoyance mute also another one. The IDs. Object marker and what else? That's all you need for our object marker. For the NPC itself, you can use NPC indicator. What do you think is the most fun raid to do? Theater or Blood, for me personally. I really like the fact that Theater Blood requires like a baseline level of skill to clear. And then there are also like set rolls as well, which is kind of nice. Is it big 2 damage versus Obelisk phase dodgeable or prayable? No, unfortunately not. There's nothing you can really do about it. Turn off Ancient Haste if you don't like it. Reduce the amount of damage you take. Or more DPS. That's pretty much it. You can like do tick eats and stuff though. To help mitigate it. A lot of people do like tick eats or tick regens to help mitigate it. Hey Mr. Reynolds, thanks for your 500 Bofa run. It's been helpful. I've been running 515s with timer and hoping for the best. 66 perps looking for the boomstick. Good luck, my dude. I assume you just did the 500 video and didn't take the bandage. Respectable. Like, yeah, I want that purple chance. Can't really solo that. Not realistically for solo top, no. Like, you obviously can. People do it all the time. But it's a very, like, niche challenge run that takes a lot of time. Also a lot of tick eating. Would you still bring Bclaws if you could 3 down without them? I don't use them specifically for 3 downing. I can already 3 down without them. I bring them because I get free. It just happened to be kind of helpful to making it a 3 down like brainless, where I can just like re-chat instead of like, you know how people like normally pay attention to like doing 9 Void Wakers in a BGS here, or like 7 Void Wakers in a BGS. The Burning Claws are kind of nice because I can just brain off, do 3 in the beginning, and just Void Waker whack it to death. But the Burning Claws are mostly for Kefri. They're exceptionally good at Overlords, like dealing with the Scarabs and stuff. Why do you stand there? Is it better? It is actually really good to stand there. So for the windmill, you just like run on it after it like blinks red. But for everything else, there's essentially a safe spot. So you know that like attack that kind of like approaches you, like it's like a diagonal line that slowly like encroaches on you from both sides. Normally you run through it on like the usual safe spot, but on that one you just literally AFK in the corner, and it doesn't hit you. And then for the bombs, because they made it so that the bombs no longer land underneath Warden. So if you drag Warden exactly at like how I did it there, then you can kind of like corner the amount of positions of the P2 bombs, the falling skulls, and basically like mathematically dodge everything except like one spot, which is underneath you. So probably like 80% of my P2s, I don't even need to dodge a singular bomb, which is kind of broken. But the funny thing is, I didn't need all this P2 stuff. I didn't even need to like play the patch to know that this was possible. I instantly figured it out just reading the notes that this was going to be what I was going to be doing. Same for Baba. The only thing that I had to find out in game was kind of like if Burning Claws were like good and stuff. Everything else was pretty much planned. Guide for that or YouTube video? Not any particular guide, but you can just, it's not that many steps. You just gotta drag him down and then stand where I stood, and yeah, you're chilling. I like solo raids, but this one I haven't tried because it looks like a lot. It's actually one of the easier solo raids to approach. A lot of the mechanics are like intended to be able to solo, and you don't need any kind of like workaround really. Like for example, Ulm, your workaround is 4-1. You want to know like basic mechanics like safe spotting mistakes and stuff like that, but you don't really need to know that in this raid. Everything is kind of designed in case you wanted to solo it. Give it a shot. Take some time to move up, obviously, to high invo, but very approachable. I do have a YouTube video for like the Bofa 500 if you want to look at it. It's unknown, but it's a different one. I don't think it goes over that in particular. I don't think it does, at least. It might. But it wasn't that important anyway. I'm checking out YouTube right now. Hey, thank you very much. It's not falling in the corner. It's yeah, it doesn't really matter. The tile marker is the important one, like where to stand afterwards. You just need to drag him down, which is just against the wall. Like if you're against the wall, he'll drag down, and then you just go to the tile marker afterwards. Lucky. Alright guys, it is 3 AM on my end. I gotta go to bed. Get ready for work. But thank you guys for watching. Pretty nice, short 4-raid session, I think. Of course, if you guys have any questions, feel free to hop in the Discord. My YouTube channel has a Discord link in the description. If you guys wanna, questions there, I'll be more happy to answer. And then otherwise, I will probably be live whenever. Usually in the weekends, but sometimes